Yeah, look, it's prayer water cocoa. You can jump up on it now, you don't need the pogo. Yeah, we diving off, bitch, we about to splash. All up in the deep end, but we ain't up on a boat though. We gon' stir it up some similar to cake batter. Headed to the top, no skipping steps and no ladder. These questions ain't some shit up on the street. Can't just walk around and put the faith inside myself. Got to work, stop the doubt. Trying to change the world, you better change yourself first. Living my life to the fullest, no round trip ticket on that hearse. I'm a star, so I burst. Entrepreneur, I got merch. Put your back against the wall and I can show you what you worth. We go in, we get deep. TLC the way we creep. Need a mop, need a tacos where we spilling all the tea. This that prayer water cocoa, keep me right in it weather. On my way to the promised land, can we get there together? Yeah, look, it's prayer water cocoa. You can jump up on it now, you don't need the photo. Yeah, we diving out, we about to splash. All up in the deep end, but we ain't up on the boat though. We gon' stir it up some similar to cake now. Hey, what's going on now? You already know what time it is. Come on in and take a seat and get comfortable, babe. It's another episode of Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter for your soul. We inspiring everybody from essential workers to those that work on the pole. Listen, we didn't all have to do something strange for a little piece of change. I can understand. I can relate. But the one thing we won't be doing is judging over here on Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. We gonna give it to you straight. But we ain't judging nobody. Ain't nobody got no time for that. I hope you guys are doing great. Welcome to another episode of Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. It's actually episode 10, man. We are on episode 10 of Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. I'm extremely happy about that, extremely grateful and elated that people have continued to kind of follow us and, you know, felt inclined to check your boy out and to tune in every week. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and have a phenomenal conversation. This has been a great time. I've truly enjoyed what we've been doing so far. And I thank everybody. I thank everybody for continuing to support. And we're wherever podcasts are found. The podcast host site is a website by the name of Anchor. Great website. You can go to anchor.fm.com, look up Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter and see all the other sites that we're connected to where you can listen to the podcast. You can listen on Apple, Google, YouTube, whatever it is that you want to do. So follow, subscribe, support the show. If you have a question or a comment, please email us at prayerwaterandcocoabutter@gmail.com. Your boy get back to you. We be getting those emails. I'll be entertained. I love to read the emails and stuff like that and some of the questions and the things that people point out about the show or about guests themselves. So I love it. Your boy's never upset about an email. I'll tell you that right now. But I truly hope you guys are doing well. But we got a lot to talk about, man, and no time to waste. But you know what it is. Come on now. Let's get into the word.
Let's get into the word. Let's get into the word. Wow. Let's get into the word. Fuck what you heard. We give it to you straight. No chaser with no curse. Let's get into the word. Let's get into the word, man.
I got to start off the day with this situation that happened to me recently. It was over the past week. And it involved chicken. Now, I've had a lot of incidents in my life that haven't gone the way that I've wanted that it involved chicken. I got a very special relationship in my life with chicken. And I understand that as a Black person, we feel ashamed about that. Sometimes, people don't even want to post their meals if there's a piece of chicken, in the picture, because we've allowed society and the standards of society to tell us what we can and can't do and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the South. Everybody, every color eat chicken out there. You know what I'm saying? But you get these new age, man, put that chicken down. You eating what the white man wants you to eat. Well, so be it. Because I damn sure seen a lot of white people pull up at my local Popeyes, I'll tell you that. Is that Chuck, my landlord? What the hell? So that's why all the white meat and the red beans and rice is going today. All right, Chuck. So it's like that. Greedy ass. If God didn't want us to eat them chickens, he wouldn't have put them here. And that's on everything. But one of my favorite foods, without a doubt, is chicken wings. I moved from Atlanta, Georgia, and chicken wings are that is a staple. I was just talking to a friend about this, about, Atlanta and the food culture out there. But Atlanta, man, is special, and one of the things that they are known for is the chicken wings. So when you had the opportunity to eat at great spots like American Deli and International Cafe and just all the great little wing spots and little food places out there, soul food, it's phenomenal. But I made the mistake of going to Wingstop, which is not really a place that I frequent. So, and I knew, when you immediately make a mistake and your brain tells you, you know what, this is why you shouldn't have done that. I never ordered from Wingstop, but I was with a friend. I personally wanted tacos. She was talking about doing the wings. but I wasn't trying to get into no fight. So we got the chicken wings. I'm in an area that I'm not exactly familiar with. So I make the order, and they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be ready in like 25 minutes. So I call back in like 15, 20, because I'm about to head out the house. Girl takes my order and everything like that. She had initially taken my order. I call back like, oh hey, just checking on those chicken wings. The girl picks up the phone like, what chicken wings? I said, excuse me? What? She was like, what's your name? I said, my name is Jaloid. Isn't your name Marietta? I said, I just spoke to you. She was like, okay, well, what did you order? I said, I ordered 15 hot, extra crispy with ranch. She was like, oh, okay. I said, oh, okay. Are they ready? Or what the hell is going on? She was like, oh, we got to make them. We haven't made them yet. So I'm already starting to get irritated. I'm already starting to get peeved. So she was like, we'll make them. They'll be ready. So I wait another 20 minutes, get to the Wingstop. So I pull up to the Wingstop with my friend. And as soon as I walk in, I could already see that there was some foolishness going on. First of all, the little girl, the attendant, she appeared high. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I know what being high at work looks like. Okay? All right? So if you thought you was about to pull something over on somebody, I know what being high at work looks like. I reckon I saw it all in her eyes as soon as I saw her. This silly ass, dumbass grin on her face. Why the hell are you smiling at 11:37 p.m.? Ain't no need for you to be smiling looking that stupid. You're high. I'm looking at the wings, right? And I told y'all I ordered a 15-piece extra crispy. One of the things, I open up the wings, and you always got to check your food. I've made this mistake at Popeyes and whatnot before. You always got to check your food when you go into these fast food joints before you pull off. Because if you get home and you know what I'm saying, they got the wrong thing or they missing something like they typically do, that's on you. That's on you. Ain't no taking back your receipt 2 days later and say that y'all didn't put my biscuits in there. Now, I've done it before, but I was wrong for that. I lied. I'm not saying do what I do. They're not going to really work with you if you try to do that. So I open up the wings, look at the wings. The wings, first of all, are saucy as hell. Saucy as fuck. I don't like no saucy ass wings. It's about flavor. People try to do this like, oh, mashed potatoes and gravy. We going to drown them in the gravy, or, brisket and drown it with barbecue sauce. That doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it good. That's not no flavor. So you drown in the wings in the sauce already. I can hear the wings screaming, save me, Jaloid, save me, drowning. So then I look at the wings. 15 piece, 13 of the wings are drums. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm more of I will eat drums. Everybody kind of feels differently about wings. You got people who are flats. They love their flats. You got people who, they love the drumettes. I love the flats. But you know what I'm saying? If it's a 15 piece, I can do 8 flats and 7 drums. There were 13 drumettes in that hoe. Y'all just don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm already pissed off and frustrated at this point. So I was like, can I just please get, my ranch? Can I please get a couple of ranches? She's like, yeah, you sure can. The ranch is extra. The ranch is like $1.25 a piece. I was like, what? I said, you don't serve ranch? There's no sauce? So you drowning these motherfuckers in the buffalo, but I can't get nothing to cure the heat that's on my tongue without paying for it. I got to dig into my car to find spare change for the ranch because I'm not putting $2.25 on my credit card. I'm not doing that. And it was the closest like I literally thought about to actually writing something on Yelp. But and I don't really do that. Like I'm not really like a Yelp person, period. And if I am writing something on Yelp, it's with the aspect of trying to be positive. Because I feel like Yelp, in all honesty, is like one of the worst things to come across technology over the past 10 years, however long it's been around. Because what Yelp does is give credence to the fact of all these people who think that they're food critics. You got too many people on there that think they are real life food critics. I mean, you should see some of the ridiculous reviews that be on Yelp. Yeah, don't go to the Wiener Schnitzel on Bigsby Road. I got 2 hot dogs the other day and the relish was too tart for my liking. Bitch, didn't nobody need this? Didn't nobody need to know about the relish at Wiener Schnitzel? You ain't helping nobody. But it's crazy, dog. Like, and it was so wild because you really have to think about customer service is a lost art. And I didn't really get, you get home, you start getting into the chicken, I mean, it is what it is. It's chicken, it's chicken, so you make do. It's gone. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into an establishment or a business and gone up to the bar and the bartender looked like you annoying them. Yeah, we close in 3 hours, so get your order in. Hurry. What you want? The hell? I'll tell you what I want. I want to put my hands on you. That's what I want. I want to put my hands on you, but I can't do that. It's like we be forgetting these days that the customers are the people who make the business. People just don't give a fuck. Customer service is going to be something that we talk about. That's going to be something that I talk about when I have grandkids. I tell you used to be able to walk in this morning, they greet you with a smile on their face. You kids don't know what you miss. Kids don't know about no damn customer service. That's going to be something that we talk about. Lost art. Like a lot of people want to have a business. They want to do things, be an entrepreneur and stuff like that, of course. And that's great. I think we should all aspire to want to do things like that. But you have to figure out, how are you servicing a need? If somebody comes in your establishment, or they're supporting your business, or they come to your comedy show, or they buy your merch, or they listen to your podcast, what are you giving them to make them want to come back? How are you treating them? Trying to treat somebody the right way, it goes a long way, man. I'm telling you. It goes a long way. But I still tipped the girl. She was nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, high as hell. I mean, sweetheart, maybe you need to try a sativa, not an indica. We got to get into it. We got to dig in like a shovel, man. Big movie came out, man. A lot of people was talking. Man. A lot of people was watching and making comments about that coming to America too. Yes, Eddie Murphy dropped the long-awaited sequel to Coming to America, one of his most popular films. And I think more than one of his most popular films, this is a film that held a special place in the heart for a lot of people. Like, I talked to a lot of people. I got the poster up on my wall, Boomerang. Like, Boomerang is my absolute favorite movie of all time. I talked to a lot of people who say that Coming to America, white, black, Latino, it's their favorite movie of all time. So a lot of people were strongly and eagerly anticipating the sequel. You got a couple of problems already, which is for me why I was already concerned. Number one, and you kind of see this with things like Bad Boy. I think, Bad Boys for Life came out, Bad Boys 3. I think it came out like maybe 18, 20 years after Bad Boys 2, something like that. And I think it was a, fairly good film, but there were some things that were lacking. And like in Coming to America 2, the original Coming to America came out in 1988, 33 years ago. So what you got to understand and realize, basically the majority of your crowd that even knows anything about this film, not only are they so much older, you have a lot of people who you're trying to show and get to watch this new Coming to America 2 who have not even seen the original. I was talking to one of my homeboys, he's like 28. And I was like, yeah, bro, that Coming to America too, man. You know what I'm saying? You need to check it out. You need to watch it. I'm going in. He was like, oh, yeah, snap. I heard about that. He was like, I haven't even seen the original. I said, what? You heard me, Juice. I haven't even seen the original. So you have a lot of people, since it's been 33 years since you've released the original, who don't even know anything about the original movie. And you could tell with the movie that they were trying to obviously cater to their newer audience. First and foremost, the original movie was rated R. The Coming to America the new sequel is rated PG-13. And that just makes a difference. And I can understand, I've heard Eddie Murphy actually talk about the fact that with like Dr. Dolittle and all of those things, he had wanted, I think Eddie Murphy has like 10 kids. So he's talked about, how, hey, listen, he's wanted to make movies and stuff for his kids. This ain't the movie to make for your kids. I even heard Arsenio Hall kind of talk about it, about they had felt in the past that Coming to America was so good that it didn't need to be touched. You changing the movie from a R-rated movie to a PG-13 movie changes the whole complexity of the film. I could just kind of tell from the film, the way that I watched it, my thoughts were that it appeared that this film was supposed to be released around the holidays. You could just kind of tell. Like, it was either supposed to be released around like either Thanksgiving, Christmas, or something like that. It felt like a holiday movie. Real sweet, innocent, a lot of silly jokes and stuff like that. The original Coming to America had stakes. Even though it was a comedy, it was like, okay, Akeem, he didn't want to get married to the original girl that barked like a dog, and he traveled to New York, and there were real stakes, and there were dangers and things that he went through, even though it was comedic and it was funny. It's very interesting to me when you see a lot of cameos. Oh, the cameos, they had Rick Ross playing an African soldier, Anita Baker, Morgan Freeman was up in that hoe. Wesley Snipes, Tiana Taylor, Michael Blackson. It reminded me almost like Scary Movie 3, Scary Movie 4. Remember how the scary movies had gotten to the point where it was just like, every scene, it was just like a celebrity? Cat Williams and all these people, and you're just like, damn, like, why are there all these celebrities? Oh, all of a sudden, 33 years later, you realize that you had a drunken night or something like that and you accidentally got Leslie Jones pregnant. What? In what instance do you think he would have been that careless? And then the stakes of the movie. So the dude who's playing his son, Jermaine Fowler, and listen, credit to him. Credit to him. He did his thing. I think he worked well within the lines, and I think he did a great job. That's a great opportunity. I think anybody who's a comedian or an aspiring actor would have taken that role. I would have taken it in a heartbeat. But I think the thing is, do you think as a 31-year-old, if you had no relation, no knowledge of your father, that it's just going to be all good and, yeah, let me go to Zamunda and no, it's not going like that. You got to have some stakes. Eddie Murphy was going back into, and I think he had a private jet, but this man was flying back and forth from Queens to Africa like he was going from Brooklyn to the Bronx. If you remember the original movie, it was a huge scene when his dad and his mother, when Simi and them were running through the money. And they had asked, I think it was like for $450,000, $500,000. And when James Earl Jones and them got wind of it, they had came to the city and it was a huge scene. They pulling up in the limousine, the Mercedes, and they got the African flags, the Zamundan flags on the car, and everybody in the streets are looking. They got the drums playing. It was a big scene. When Eddie just kind of kept going back and forth, it was just like, what's going on? I think it was cool. Like his daughter, who he didn't really want to make, a king or queen or be the ruler of Zamunda. They kind of had some good things about, not being sexist, allowing her to kind of like lead the country. But it was just like, man, when you try to change the original synopsis of something, it doesn't always work. It's like trying to make Roots a comedy or something like that, changing the premise. I mean, did y'all see that Roots? That boy Louis Gossett is a fool now. That nigga's hilarious. And listen, man, I'm happy with Eddie Murphy. Like I said, Eddie Murphy got 10 kids. So I get it. A lot of this is just the people wanting it. You trying to please the people, but trying to please the people. It's like all the people that want last Friday or Friday 3 or whatever. Chris Tucker, all the people that want Friday, Chris Tucker done talked about, he don't want to do it no more. Debo done died. Ice Cube 52. And we're in this element of where just sequels. There's no original material being produced. Those are the biggest things, either like some type of superhero Marvel movie or sequels. And there's just not a lot of sequels that are done well. There's some, Ninja Turtles, some of the Batmans, Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon is actually a great movie series. I think they had 4, Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they were all great in my opinion. And to me, it felt like Eddie Murphy didn't really want to be there. The nigga's accent was going in and out. I was like, sometimes this nigga sound African, then he just sound like somebody on the bus or the train in California. And I'm not mad about you getting that bag. From what I understand, I believe he was paid in upwards of like 80 to 100 million. It's a lot of money to turn down when you got a family. I don't care how much money you got. $100 million is $100 million. And I love Eddie Murphy. I think Eddie Murphy is one of the greatest talents, not just comedic, period. I always tell everybody one of my favorite roles he's done, and I know he can still do what he wants to do. He just did Dolomite, which I thought was a great film. A very funny film, a realistic look at a black actor who kind of coming up in LA, who was had aspirations to do more than what people were telling him he could do. If you are a creative or an entertainer or just an Eddie Murphy fan, you need to watch Dolomite. Great film. And it was interesting to me because, like I said, I was talking to a friend about the lack of new material. I was talking to some comedian friends recently. We had a great discussion. And I was talking about the lack of these collaborative films, especially amongst African Americans. That used to be a thing where guys would get together, brand their talents, and make something incredible. Look at Boomerang. The original Boomerang, David Allen Greer, Halle Berry, Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Grace Jones, the house parties, Martin Lawrence, Tisha Campbell, Bernie Mac, all of these people that would get together and say, I may not necessarily be as big as you or where I want to be, but you're talented. You can do this. I'm talented. Let's put our heads together and come up with some incredible art, something incredible for the culture. We don't do that no more. I was having this conversation about why. And we have to be careful with that crab in a bucket mentality, man. Crab in a bucket. Old school saying. We can do that as just people and especially as minorities. Where you see one person kind of achieving and getting up and you want to pull that person, y'all all in the bucket. That's what they call crabs in a barrel. If you have one crab trying to get out, the other crabs will pull them down instead of collaborating, putting our insecurities and our egos aside and saying, let's work together. It can be done. And that was something I had to think about myself. Jalord, you need to get together with some of these people. You need to plan. Put your resources together. Do what you can do. Instead of worrying about being in Fast and the Furious 17. Oh, it's coming. Now, The Rock might be 82, but it's coming. And we got to look at that as creatives out here in this city that tries to tell us, oh, we can only do this. We can only have one Issa Rae every 5 years. Hell no. We got to work on establishing our own mark, our own brand. So you got to figure out a way to be able to bring out your craft, deliver what it is that you do, work for people, and set your own standard. And it can be done. No cap. Your boy Jalord. It go down. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Like I said, this is episode 10 of this podcast, man. Prayer, water, and cocoa butter. I appreciate all the support. I ask you guys, man, just tell somebody about the show. Tell them to follow, send them the links so they can keep up with us. So we're going to be working on some things, reformatting, adding some new things, taking a look at what we have done, and so we can move forward. And we can move forward in even bigger and a better direction. You know what I'm talking about? Prayer, water, and cocoa butter. Oh, we coming back the right way. But listen, we got a great edition of our segment, All Up in Your Business, but respectfully. You know, all up in your business, but respectfully. We're interviewing comedian Aaron Monte. Monte's a comedic musician. He does music. He's a writer. He's a co-host of his own podcast. One of the most disrespectful comedians that I've ever met on the circuit. I'll tell you that right now. But we still gave him a chance over here on Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. But listen, man, continue to support. Continue to tune in. Take care of yourself. Take care of your people. Get out. Go do something. Go get something. Go be somebody, baby. But you know what time it is, man. It's your boy Jalord, man. Prayer, water, and cocoa butter, baby. It go down. All right, turn up. What it do? It's your boy Jalord over here on Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter, and we got another segment of All Up in Your Business, but respectfully. All up in your business, but respectfully. Special guest that we got today, Aaron Monte. Monte is a comedian, a musical comedian, co-host of the Pink House podcast, and a writer. So we are extremely happy to be talking to Aaron Monte today. Aaron Monte, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Juice. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I appreciate you for taking the time. I know you're a busy man. We appreciate you. I had actually, Monte, looked up, some of the information that I got online. You had a bio online. I noticed, it was pretty truthful, but I noticed one of the things that you didn't mention in your bio is that you're also known as the Thick Chris Brown. Is there any reason why you hid that from the public in your interview that I saw on Voyage LA? Is there, what's going on with that?
You look like Black Freddie Mercury. you look like Randall from Monsters Inc. Right? And you come here and you invite me into your show, looking as you do.
Disrespect. So I see you starting off as you typically do.
Start off with a Thick Chris Brown.
See, Aaron Monte, and some of you have probably noticed on some of my social media pages, Aaron Monte, please don't let the smile and the calm demeanor fool you. Aaron Monte is one of the most disrespectful entertainers that I've met in the city of LA. I want to be clear on that. This man will smile in your face. I've hosted a couple of shows, put him on my shows. He'll smile in your face, and then he'll spend the first 2 minutes of his set talking about you and some of the health issues that you have or that you're going through.
Yeah, I do bring the health issues to light off. It's one of my staples. It's one of my staples in the game. I'm real with you. I think I perfected being disrespectful to people and still being nice to them at the same time.
Oh, you're phenomenal. You're phenomenal. Yeah, no.
I did it, but I think I figured out the formula. It's like, I think I can be a little mean and still have them not be mad at me.
I'm going to keep it a buck. Aaron, we don't lie to the crowd. We don't lie to the people here on Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. Some of the way that you have treated me, we actually met.
Right.
We actually met at my comedy show, That Young Comedy Mic, when it was an open mic. And you came through, did a great job. You performed on several shows and, always done a fantastic job. But it was funny because our relationship almost ended over an incident with a piece of chicken. Yeah. I don't know if I'd ask you to tell your part of the story, but I know you ain't gonna tell the truth. Aaron Monte, I happened to be over at his place one day. I was invited over. Aaron Monte, a few other guys, comedians he working with, they do this incredible show that I've had an opportunity to host. It's called Henny and Chicken. Great comedy show where they have some phenomenal comedians, and they also, for a ticket, you get unlimited chicken, unlimited Hennessy. Great idea.
Yeah, mind you, I get no chicken on these nights. Me and DC Edwards get no chicken. We save a plate, by the way. This plate of chicken in question here was already labeled off.
So first of all, he's lying. The chicken wasn't labeled off. The chicken was wrapped up in aluminum foil. Any of my black people that are listening, or anybody listening at all, know that ain't no damn label. It was just wrapped up in aluminum foil. So your boy Jaloid, being a diabetic, I wasn't in my right mind. There was no sugar, no orange juice in the house. So I, unbeknownst to me, grabbed Aaron Monte's plate. Now, where he got angry because he was like, Jaloid, how is this a mistake? You grabbed it out of the microwave. He was like, how is this a mistake? You grabbed it out of the microwave. I didn't appreciate that accusation. And I still don't. Okay, I'm a type 1 diabetic. And Monte, that's the thing about you. You were so disgustingly rude to me that night. You slammed the microwave. I believe you went in your room. There was a party going on. I believe you went in your room for 15 minutes. This nigga came back out. Aaron Monte went in the room with an afro, came out with braids. Nigga came out with cornrows and a wife beater. Oh my God. Too funny.
I got chicken in the microwave. For maybe 2 seconds. I turn back around. You see a juice with the plate of chicken. Yeah.
So when the next Henny and Chicken? Because this is bomb. When y'all doing one in March or what?
You got a fork out of the drawer. I didn't even have a fork. I just had the plate of chicken. I wasn't even going to use a fork. You went got a fork.
I think that was what really made you upset. It wasn't even so much the chicken, because this is your house. Right. It was like you turned around, you saw the chicken. It's already the disrespect of that. And then you saw me with one of your plates. This wasn't no plasticware. This was a fork.
Yeah, a fork.
One of your forks that I took. Something that you were going to have to wash later.
It'll wash it, for sure.
When I tell you Monte slammed that microwave, I think the hinges came off. God damn. Type 1 my ass. God damn, he's never welcome over here again, DC. Damn it. So like I said, guys, clearly he's disrespectful. That's very clear to see, and I wanted to start off with that just so we were clear about who we were interviewing. We're laughing, we're joking, but what really gets you angry? What does it take to get you angry?
I do get quiet right before I get angry, and then you also see me like yelling angry as well. That's the next step after that. It's not a very long list of things. It's a very short list. I don't like people screaming in my face.
Yes.
Like, you're not saying that. And any type of like when people are rude. When people are rude, that makes me angry. To me, or to anyone else, like I can usually like words don't really affect me too much. Like I can hear someone can tell me anything and it won't really bother me that much. But if there's an intention like behind a word or something that someone says to me, that's when I'm like, all right, you being disrespectful. And I might be able to let it slide a few times, but if it's continued in the same, you know what I mean? Like, you don't reel it in after I'm kind of like, hey, bud, what's going on? You just
they keep it. Yeah, I'm being disrespectful, nigga. You can't hear me? Okay, now we have a problem.
Exactly.
When you do get angry, man, how do you handle that? Like what is your, obviously a comedian. I'm sure there have been things, we'll get into that have happened as far as just shows, sets, audience members, hosts, promoters, dealing with things like that. When you are in a situation when you get angry, what's your process as far as handling that?
Well, of course, when you're young, like you want to fight people. That's just or just keep yelling at somebody. But now I walk away. I just gotta walk away and go somewhere by myself for a little bit. And it might not even be too long because I'll sit there and then I just think about. Most of the time, the things that you're that angry about you don't need to be that angry about.
Come on now.
You know what I mean? So like sitting down for a second and just really just thinking about it. And sometimes you're correct to be angry, but you gotta internalize that and figure out how to communicate that better than just being, going crazy with it,
Absolutely.
Put your mind over it. And I think that's the most important because then that just tortures yourself, to be honest with you. It doesn't make it any better. So that first release is what makes it better in the first place. You don't need to continue to you're in that same space. I think it's better to get in touch with your emotions and then go be able to communicate that. If it's that first initial angriness, then I leave it at that. I don't keep it going past that. But then again, maybe nothing that crazy has happened to me yet. Like maybe
right.
I'm like, yo, I'm angry. I'm in a rage for days at a time.
we gonna post this up and see Aaron Monte on the front of TMZ next week. Parking spot stolen from comedian. He slaps 90-year-old woman. Like, what the hell? What the hell? I can't put this out now. Tell me about your background, man. Where are you from?
I'm from Englewood, California.
Okay.
Born and raised in Englewood.
What was that like? You're coming up in Englewood. Do you have siblings? Like, were your parents? Were you raised with your family as a whole, or kind of what was your experience growing up in Englewood like?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up. My brother, my sister had an older sister, a younger brother. My parents were together, still are together. Growing up in Englewood, lived in the same house my whole life.
Okay.
And everyone in LA, like, from South Central and like Inglewood,
they kind of stay in their hood. They stay in their area.
Everybody's in the hood. Like, no,
right.
When I got older, that's when I really first started going to Hollywood. I remember meeting like DC and like and you and a bunch of people. And everyone's like, "Yo, we going to Hollywood." And I'm like, "Where do we go?" And I'm like, "I don't know.
I'm from Englewood." Okay. Comedy opened that up for you, even being somebody who's from the city.
And now it's crazy. I feel more pride being from the city because you see how rare it is to see, like, know adults that are
that are actually from here.
Exactly. And especially in comedy, because I'm like, I feel alone. I've been called a unicorn. In LA, you a unicorn? No, man, you're a unicorn.
And you being a comedian, one of the jokes that you have that I really enjoy, you kind of talk about this joke that you have where you talk about doing like an ancestry.com, I believe, lookup and kind of finding out some of your specifications as far as your racial makeup and background. Man, tell me a little bit about how that joke came to be and also about your background. Are you mixed?
Yeah, so both my parents are Creole.
Okay.
So from Louisiana.
Okay.
Creole, like my whole family just from Creole. Everybody Creole. I don't know how. The joke that I have is that I find I'm 60% white, or like more white than I would prefer, like much more white. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
An overwhelming amount of white. The joke kind of came from a couple of my uncles, like my uncle on one side, my aunt on the other side, who did it, and they both got like 60% white. You know what I mean? Something like that. And I was like, damn, like that's a lot more than I thought they would.
Pretty high.
And my uncle don't look like me. My aunt, I understood my aunt. I was like, all right, she real light skin. My aunt's real yellow. My uncle was pretty brown, like, you know what I'm saying, like real dark, like, you know what I'm saying. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like that could be the same for me. I think I was in college actually, and I texted some of my friends. Like, yo, I think I might be like mostly white. And one of my other friends texted me and was like, "Hey man, you okay? Like, is everything?" It's crazy with your identity and stuff, So.
You better be glad we didn't know each other in college, Monte. I would have been like, "Nigga, tell me something I don't know. You meet me at the calf? Or you meet me at the calf at 3 or not? Tell me something I don't know. Where are the notes for the science test?" You always get people started with that one. I actually, there's probably been a couple of times I'll cut your mic off because I didn't like the response that you got. All right. Okay. So I did my intro and y'all, I didn't hear, I heard a few chuckles, but y'all laughing at this. Y'all laughing at racial intermingling. So that's funny. Okay. I know that California in and of itself is a pretty diverse place, but as we talked about, a lot of times people stay in their neighborhoods.
Right.
They kind of stay in their neighborhoods and different things like that. Have you ever experienced throughout schooling or just maybe in your adult life, a situation where somebody kind of was maybe rude or kind of tried to judge or, say something that maybe where you were like, that's not really going to fly. You don't know me like that. Have you had any problems with being a mixed person, or has it just been the people around you have just been accepting? And that's Aaron Monte.
What's crazy about race and like colorism and stuff like that is that everyone, for some reason, everyone always got something to say no matter what you look like.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was something that I realized too, because of course growing up, there was always when I was in high school, do you remember a time when everyone was talking about the light skin versus dark skin thing? And it was all
absolutely.
It was like a whole beef that was happening. That was during my high school time, which is like the worst time for that to happen. You know what I mean? Because high school kids is going to be ruthless with it. Right. But even before then, coming up, like, called an Oreo all the time for no reason whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like other than how I talked or whatever. You know, people call me, you know, light bright all the time. That's, I mean, those are all jokes or whatever. But at the same time, I was like, damn, like that's I don't even be thinking about my skin color at the time.
Right.
I be living life. You know what I mean?
Right.
People bring it up to me more than I ever think about. You know what I mean?
Right.
It still happens today. You know what I mean? That still happens. People go, I walk into a room sometimes like, oh, light skin nigga, you know, yada yada yada. And I'm like, yo, man, I wasn't even. We just here chilling, my nigga. That's not really,
exactly.
You know, I love being a black man. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I love my skin color too. But I also have to be aware of what privilege that gives me at the same time.
And I love that. There's no you accept your background.
Yeah,
you accept your background, but at the same time, hey, I'm a black man.
Right.
And it's that simple.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know any white people until I got to high school. And that was interesting. I was, you know, trying to fit in everywhere or trying to figure out where I fit in because at one point in time, I was trying to hang out with the black group of kids at school because, you know, at my high school was more like upper class rich white people, and like in you know, the Asian community was rich people over there. And then so there was like a real small, you know, black community there in my grade, and I was trying to fit in with them. And trying to fit in with them, like they were assholes. Like it was like the one group of black dudes.
We can do that. We can do that.
I was kind of like, yo, what's good with y'all? Like y'all kind of like, you know what I mean? Like they were always trying to holler at my sister. Like it was like, I'm like, yo, are we friends or not, bro? I understand. You know what I mean? It was like it was they were just real dicks, and I was kind of like, yo, if I can't hang out with the black kids, who am I to hang out with? You know what I mean? Because this is the group of black kids at school, and I'm supposed to hang out with them. But I kind of like realized, I was like, well, I can't just base my friends off the people that look like me. And I guess it gets a little complicated because then people start seeing you a different way when you're a light-skinned black kid who hangs out with all the white kids.
Want to start judging.
Exactly. And of course, I still have my group of black friends that I'm like, we're like my brothers and sisters even to this day that like, you know, at the school. But you know, once I started kind of trying to branch out and figure out other groups of friends, like that's, you know, it gets people like, yo, who do you know who you are? And I'm kind of like, yeah, I think I do. I know who I am. Like, hanging out with people that are cool. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. You kind of you spoke about the musical comedian thing. I like that. You guys got to check out Aaron Monte. He's got quite a few songs, Girls with Kids and Guap Extras. He's got a lot of kind of like funny comedic songs. Monte, tell me about how you kind of got into that. Was it music first and then you kind of started doing the stand-up, or was it stand-up and you started putting music together with that? How did that kind of come about?
All my life since I was a kid, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to write books. I wanted to write TV movies. And so when I was starting to go to college, I was trying to figure out, what do I do? Like, I know it's going to be hard there's no career path to be like a TV writer, you know what I mean? Or at least I wasn't in that position to get that, you know what I mean? I wasn't, you know, a kid from Englewood about to go to Cal State Long Beach, a local school, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't in no position to get some kind of like, you know, connections to getting a writing job somewhere.
Right.
So I was trying to figure out what I should do, or I was thinking, should I go to law school? I considered that at one point. I was really into philosophy, so I really wanted to, you know, go to law school. But when I ended up going to college, I ended up majoring in creative writing.
Okay.
And when I majored in creative writing, I was writing different stories, you know, different short stories and stuff like that. And I realized that my voice was comedic, like in writing. So even when I was trying to write something serious, I'd sit down and be like, all right, this one's going to be serious. And I started writing a serious scenario, and I was like, nah, but what if this nigga said this though? And then it immediately changes the whole tone of the whole thing. And I realized that I couldn't stop myself from doing
Aaron Monte, your book report on Malcolm X was hilarious. Okay, but you need to do it over. You need to do it over.
Right. It wasn't like it was a path that I had for real, but it was something I knew that I wanted to do something artistic where people could see me, you know, see me do stuff, or see others something I created, you know, do something. You know what I mean?
This was who you were. This was who you were as a person. You were already a writer, and you decided to really delve into this as a real career aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I always had like a natural ear for music somehow. Like I don't know where it came from. My parents weren't into music, nothing like that. Like it just, you know, I just always had an ear for it. Was always able to write songs and carry tunes and sing and stuff like that. So and then I guess later on when I was doing stand-up, then I kind of was like, yo, I kind of want to do some rap with this. I kind of want to sing some songs or put some music with it, and ended up, you know, trying to delve into that, and then I ended up linking up with Pete Sobat at Blurred Culture, and he.
I was going to ask you about that. Saw that you have a relationship with blurredculture.com.
So I met Pete, who runs Blurred Culture. He's the creator and owner of Blurred Culture. So Blurred Culture is like is an entertainment music website. It's also news now. He's sports updates, stuff like that. It's really got it all. He's got interviews with like J. Cole and all kind of stuff like Nipsey Hussle, like that. So I got introduced to Pete through my cousin, who Pete was my cousin's teacher in high school. He was his multimedia teacher. You know what I mean? My cousin kept working with him on stuff after he graduated. And then he created Blurred Culture. My cousin started working with him on that. And then one day my cousin calls me. He's like, yo, man, you know Pete, who I do Blurred Culture with, where I like met Schoolboy Q with and stuff. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, he has this comedy show that he wants to do. Kind of like Daily Show with Jon Stewart, but like in 5 minutes on the internet. And I told him my cousin's a comedian. I was wondering if you want to do it. I was like, yeah, I mean, I've never done political comedy or anything like that before, but I'm definitely down to try it. It'd be a challenge. I'd be down to try. And I want to be a writer anyway. So, it's a muscle I can flex.
Absolutely.
So I started doing that. That started doing well. We started doing numbers because we were real consistent. We started, going crazy with it.
What was the name of this show?
Show's called The Late Great Show.
This is The Late Great Show.
Late Great Show.
Absolutely.
So we haven't done an episode in a while. It's the pandemic hit. So we're hoping to get back on it soon because we miss it. I miss it a lot. I miss doing it a lot, working with Blurred Culture. He really helped me out. Like, gave me everything I needed to start. And then he told me, he was like, y'all really like this. And then I showed him one of the songs that I made to the beat he sent me. And he was like, y'all really like this. Like, I'll shoot all your videos and put them on Blurred Culture.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
that's awesome.
With it. I was like, 100%.
Damn, I can't wait till the album comes out, man. I'm looking forward to that. Monte, you had mentioned on it, you had touched on it, man. How was your experience? I hear you talking about having to put the album on hold. I know you guys have been working on the podcast. You've been in the studio quite a bit. How was the pandemic, or excuse me, we're still in it. How has the pandemic been for you? And what do you feel is the biggest things that you've learned about yourself in the pandemic?
It's a blessing and a curse, 100%. I think as more time goes, it's becoming a curse.
Right.
But last year, I felt when everything closed down in March, I was kind of like, I felt pushed to do more. I think also in a weird way, the death of Kobe Bryant had a lot to do with me feeling pushing to go forward anyways.
Yeah.
He had just died like the month before, what I mean? 2 months before. And I was, still, of course, all the Kobe clips didn't come up. And now you're reminiscing when I was a child watching this nigga play basketball. And you don't realize I didn't realize how much a person I did not know had an effect on my life.
I'm telling you.
You know what I mean? And it felt like a family member dying. And once that pandemic happened, it kind of felt like a challenge to me. It kind of felt like, all right, well, let's see how you built, bro. Let's see what you do, And once immediately I knew I was like, okay, I can work on this music. I can finish figuring out what my album's supposed to be like. It did make it harder to record. I was about to go on tour and record my jokes for the album, but I ended up being able to, and flex my creative muscle a little bit more and figure out how to make it seem like I'm in the club in my album. And also able to play with it a little bit more. So I think that was a little bit of a blessing in a way. Also, early in the summer, me, DC, and Sean got an opportunity to shoot something with Epix TV.
Nice.
And that was a blessing. That was something. I don't know when that comes out or if they're even gonna tell us, but we did it. And it felt good. And we got
that's awesome.
Pink House all through it. All of our logo and likeness and the name and all that. Things happened. Things didn't completely stop. And this is something that I think a lot of people have told me, have been like, yo, like, because life doesn't stop. We all still living. If we all still here, we can't just stop altogether.
It ain't like the pandemic said, now there's 20 hours in the day.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We still moving, baby. Yeah.
Or you're going to get forgotten and left in the dust.
Come on.
What I'm saying? And no one wants that. And it kind of, I remember talking to a lot of people and they were like, yeah, I mean, things haven't been that bad for me because you kind of adjust. You call audible, you figure out what you can do next, and that's what my dad even told me recently. He was like, hey, whatever happens in life, just keep going. You just got to keep going. And that's really all the pandemic had really told me. Like now I'm on stage and I'm like, damn, this is a moment that I don't know if I'll ever get again. You know what I'm saying? And now every time I get on stage, it feels like that. Now every time I'm on stage, I'm like, all right, I'm giving it all I got because I ain't got, maybe I won't do another show again. Maybe I won't. Maybe this will go away again. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
And living in that moment and being like, yo, I used to tell my jokes in a way where I would be so script word, like line by line, however I wrote it in my notebook. It's exactly what I'm saying.
You were a verbatim comedian.
Verbatim.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I still feel this way, but more so last year or the years before the pandemic, I felt like jokes had to be a specific formula in order to succeed. And they still do need to be a specific formula. And sometimes there are specific words that you need to say in order to make a joke work, or certain cadences or whatever. But now I feel like I can play with it a little bit more. Now I can be silly in the moment, maybe do a new voice, maybe like just do a new movement that's this crowd's liking, you know what I mean? Cater to the crowd that's in front of me instead of just every crowd that I speak to, you know?
Nice.
And I think that has helped me really grow as a comedian, because now I'm like, I barely had to go back to any old jokes. I do like maybe one or two jokes that I was doing before the pandemic, but everything else I'm like, yo, I can talk about anything I want to talk about right now, because I'm in this moment. I'm in this moment, and I'm embracing it, and I'm taking it all in, and I'm leaving it all on the stage. And which is something I wish I had before, but you know, it's a learning experience, you know. And I realized that I got that at that time, but at the need I needed to. Shit got real for me because I was subbing, you know, I was substitute teaching. That's a day-to-day.
I wanted to talk to you about that. That's your job. You're a teacher, right?
Yeah, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher full time now, but that happened because of the pandemic. Like I was substitute teaching every day, and I was starting to try to move towards getting a more secure position anyways, because I needed health insurance. But subbing requires me to go day to day somewhere. You know what I mean? Once the pandemic, it was like, okay, there's going to be Zoom now. I think teachers can go to school most of the time. Like, you know what I mean? Unless there's an appointment or they get COVID, they're going to be on the computer. So what's going to happen to my job now? And you know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do? I can't work day to day. And luckily, the principal at the school offered me a job to teach classes, and I was like, yeah, like I'll do that. I'll definitely take this job. And it was crazy. Was that last year of subbing? I was kind of like, I don't feel fulfilled in this anymore. I'm kind of feel stuck. I was doing the same thing every day, going school to school. I'm not really making a huge impact on kids. They know who I am, they love when they see me, but they're not. This is no, you know, I leave and they got a new teacher.
I'm in and out.
Exactly. They have the teacher, you know, that they like way more than me.
Right.
Regardless of how much they like the sub, they love their teacher more. Than
right. Exactly.
Every class, you're like, oh, Miss Travis, you're here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like every time, and that was something I knew I had to move on from, but the pandemic was really like at that moment where it was like, all right, nigga, you gonna move on or what's up? What you gonna do now? And that came at that time. And
that's what's up. Monte, what is the most rewarding and challenging aspect of being a teacher?
I think it's hard to. I love teaching the kids. I love being around the kids. Like they're funny. They're so funny. Like they you know, they remind you of you when you see them, and like they're learning the world, and they're asking questions that they're asking all kind of questions that you don't necessarily want to answer. Like, why was right racism start? And I'm like, you know what I mean? And you got to be the one to tell them somehow. Seeing kids grow is rewarding too.
Absolutely.
There's kids in my class now that, you know, weren't talking at all in the beginning of distance learning, or you know, or one or two words, and now he's saying full sentences, and I'm like, dang, I feel like it was me. I think I know it was me.
Absolutely, you helped.
You know, and that's the most rewarding part. But I guess the hardest part is just the paperwork. It's just all the technical stuff that is the hardest part, to me at least.
So you've stayed pretty consistent. You know, even with all these things going on, you've been doing comedy for a long time, even with different jobs, different situations. Has there ever been a time where you got down on yourself to the point where you wanted to quit? You know, I either need to take an extended break, or, you know, I just kind of feel like, man, I don't know about this.
Honestly, man, the thought of not even really changing goals, but the thought of being like, man, fuck this, I ain't doing this no more, comes all often. And it's hard, because it's hard, man. Like, it's really hard doing this. It's really it takes a toll on you. It gets to the point where I'm like obsessed with trying to figure out how to succeed next, you know? And it's all I think about all day long. Like, how do I get to the next level? How do I do this? And sometimes it feels unhealthy to that point. Sometimes it feels to the point where I'm like, dang, I gotta focus on other things other than me trying to, you know, get these dubs out here and better myself in my career. You know, there's other places in my life that I gotta focus on. One of those being my bank account, and when that comes along, like having a job with benefits will definitely make you feel like, hey, maybe I should stick with this job.
Come on now, listen, you got me. I'm gonna edit that part out. You got me jealous when you started talking about health insurance. That's being edited out. Hey, listen, that health insurance is a flex, nigga.
Man,
Having health insurance is a flex.
man, I was sitting in a fancy ass dentist office in Torrance. I was sitting there, had glass doors. I was like, oh, okay, this is how we living, huh? This is me. I got this here, huh? All right. And even then, I still am not dropping those jobs and those opportunities because I know that they're getting me where I need to be in order to be in a position where I can follow my dreams, you know.
Absolutely.
And I'm also learning from the jobs that I have that aren't relating to my career. But I do have those thoughts where I'm always like, dang, should I stick with it or do I need to, you know, I'm always going to do comedy in some way, shape or form. That's never going to go away. But I do often think of if I had to adjust, how would I do it? You know,
how do you get past some of those thoughts, man? You know, Monte, where you see it'll come up, and I know exactly what you mean. The obsession with trying to figure out great content, great jokes, going to a room, none of it lands, or nobody seems to understand what you're talking about, going somewhere else. Maybe you haven't even prepared that set. They're rolling, they're dying. How do you get past those moments where it's like, God damn, why am I even doing this?
And this is a very recently thing I think about often is Nipsey Hussle always, he said, I saw a video of him when he was saying, you know, if you ever think about quitting, just remember that you're way closer to where you want to be than where you started off.
Too real.
So like, so why go back there when you already made this path to go forward?
Have to start from ground one again.
I'm too deep in.
Man.
What I'm gonna look like now on my Instagram, no longer stand-up comedy. What I'm gonna
Come
do?
on.
I'm actually doing taxes now. Delete it on my stand-up.
I'm not supporting your substitute teaching page. I'm letting you know that right now. Not doing it. Won't be following.
What's that gonna look like?
It won't be following.
I've put a lot of time and effort invested to it, and I believe in myself more than anything. And I feel a lot of the time that I'm motivated by being told no or being I can't do it. You know what I mean? Or if I feel like someone is not really believing in me or supporting me the way that I wish that they would. You know what I mean? Or if I'm like asking for support and they're still not really giving it to me. That's when I'm kind of like, okay, well, you don't believe in me, then I'm gonna show you then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if it's something where I'm figuring an opportunity I didn't get, I'm like, okay, well, they didn't believe in me, so I'm gonna figure out how to make sure that they see one day that I'm gonna get there.
Who are your inspirations as far as life is concerned?
In my personal life, my family is hilarious. Everyone in my family is funny as hell.
Okay.
Even my dad, who is very, you know how I'm very calm. He's calm as hell, so he don't tell that many jokes. You know what I mean? He tells, but when he does, like he's hilarious.
They be hitting though.
Exactly. And everyone in my family loves and respects him. Everybody. Everyone's like, everyone sees him. And even if he wasn't telling jokes, they think he's hilarious. But but you know, everyone's funny. My sister's silly. You know, my brother's silly. I had a lot of cousins growing up, and you know, always at my house, always spending the night at each other's house, at my grandma's house, getting beat up at my grandma's. Like, all those things are like, you know, all those things are stuff that builds on kind of just my story and, you know, and my future. And I refer to a lot of those things, and a lot of those because they stick with you. You know, the way I walk from like my cousin, or like the way I laugh from my grandpa, like the jokes I tell. My grandpa's the funniest person I've ever known. My grandpa is hilarious. And he comes up with lies and stuff on the fly. He just he has a scar on his chin, and he has 7 stories as to why that is.
I like him already.
The real one. I'll probably never know the real one, but you know, he's hilarious. And I realize that the way that I laugh and the things that I find funny come from him. So professional wise, I'm really inspired. So writing wise, I really like the Twilight Zone. And so Rod Serling is the writer and creator of Twilight Zone. Okay. He's one of those writers that, you know, I used to do a lot of research on him and read books. And he was one of those people that was just like, yo, at 24 years old, I was writing for newspapers. And of course, it was easier for him because he was white in the 1920s or some shit. But he was like, I was 24 years old and decided to just make a show. And I made this show. And now, because I wanted to make a point. And everything he has is like, you know, all the Twilight Zone episodes is like a twist ending or something fantastic. It has a point to it, you know? And that's how a lot of my writing is. It's real, fantastical stuff. That's just like, yo, that's crazy that that's wild. I didn't see that coming. Also, I think that even as I went to college and taking philosophy classes, at Cal State Long Beach was a huge influence on me. Like the way that I think and the way that I, my opinions on things. It's kind of like you realize in taking all these philosophy classes that there's no answers. And there's not one answer. And it's interesting that when I remember thinking and talking about this before, I looked up Steve Martin, who actually also went to Cal State Long Beach.
Did he? Okay.
Did the same thing. He was inspired by philosophy and was saying how like nothing's real, and that's why his comedy was so wild and crazy on stage.
Yeah.
Nothing's supposed to make sense. Like none of this really, nothing makes sense at all. And that was
Steve Martin was very Robin Williams-esque.
Exactly.
I remember reading about him where a lot of people would get angry when he would get on stage because they didn't understand what the fuck he was doing.
What's happening? Yeah, what are you doing up there, bro? Like, what's happening? I really enjoy, of course, Richard Pryor, my favorite comedian. The first stand-up special I ever watched was the one of him in Long Beach with I don't remember which one it was called, in concert, Richard Pryor in concert.
Hey, we got it. We got it. Turn up, baby. Yeah, turn up. Monte, you all right? All right, Monte. All right. Yeah, we gonna put this one up this year. Then we gonna put the interview up this year. Yeah, man, phenomenal show.
That was the first one I ever watched. I remember when I was a kid and watching Comedy Central. It wasn't always stand up on Comedy Central when I was a kid. They ended up having a couple of 30-minute shows, but I remember thinking. And I remember it was like around the time Richard Pryor had died, or was the anniversary of the show. I don't remember which one. But Comedy Central was like, yeah, we're showing Richard Pryor special all night long, starting at 3 a.m. uncensored on Comedy Central tonight. And I remember I was spending the night. My cousins were spending the night in my house, and we were like, yo, let's stay up and stay. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, is he really just sitting there and talk for an hour? Like, how does it work?
Right.
How does stand up for an hour work? Like he just talks.
Right.
And I remember sitting.
I thought we was gonna watch a movie. I don't.
Right. So I remember wondering what it was like before, and I was so excited to watch it. And my cousins fell asleep before 3 a.m., but I was the last one awake.
Wow.
And, I watched the whole thing by myself. It was the first special I ever watched. I think I was in eighth grade. Of course, love Dave Chappelle. You can't not name him now.
Yeah.
And then George Carlin, huge inspiration.
Okay.
He never
Carlin.
He's, never give a fuck, didn't, care what anyone thought. He was getting his point out. And that was,
and he was dropping gems too. With you coming from the philosophy standpoint, Carlin was a story. Carlin was dropping gems too, boy.
Going crazy.
Yeah.
Weird Al, of course, he's the first comedy that anyone knows. Like, at least you grew up in the 90s or, before that, like, Weird Al before you know any other musical comedian.
Absolutely.
Lonely Island.
Okay,
inspiration to me, man. Like I would watch those videos and be like, damn, like these niggas are dope, man. These niggas
absolutely
are cool. SNL nonetheless. Who was gonna say Adam Sandler? You ever watched Bo Burnham?
I haven't.
I don't think he's doing too many stand-up specials these days, but it's all music. He has a couple specials on Netflix. He directed Chris Rock's last special, actually.
Tambourine?
Yeah, he directed that.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's really impressive to watch him work. Also, Afro Man.
Okay.
Afro Man is shit, man. Like Colt 45 because I got high. Like
because I got high.
Yeah, right. Even like music where not even like comedy music, like R. Kelly.
Yeah.
That's a huge singing inspiration is a crazy singing inspiration for me. He's so easy to imitate. For me,
yes.
You know what I mean? And like the things how he sings a song or like how he does his like ad-libs or the things in between, you know what I mean? His little afflections and shit, you know what I mean?
Listen, I've talked to people about this, man. I've actually, being from Atlanta, I think we've talked about it. I've met R. Kelly a couple times. He used to play basketball with him.
Really? I didn't know that.
No, hey, the man, listen, the man is like Curry. The nigga can shoot. Yeah, when Kels was a teenager, we used to play all the time. Like, Jaloid, how old are you, nigga? What the hell? But yeah, man, the dude, he had a house in Atlanta and he loved to play basketball. So when he would be in town, there was this park kind of on the north side. He would just be there. Nigga would come up with an entourage. I had a chance to play on his team one time, and his security guard let me know immediately. Like, so here's the deal. All y'all doing is setting screens for Kels. I was like, okay. Dog, the nigga was pulling up like Dame Lillard or Steph Curry. The nigga could shoot. He wasn't dribbling. He wasn't going to the hole. All he was doing was shooting the rock.
Oh,
that's it. But it's funny that you bring that up because obviously R. Kelly has been accused and done some terrible things.
Right.
But two things do not separate. Like, the man was a great songwriter. It's like Bill Cosby. Like, I remember watching Eddie Murphy, and he said, if you watch specials, watch Richard Pryor and watch Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Just due to the way that they tell their jokes, their format. So it's like, I can still acknowledge that you did some terrible things, but I can still appreciate the artwork that you came up with and perhaps learn something from it. Aaron, I asked everybody on this show, man, you know, the name of the show, Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter, you know, those are the things for me, why I named the show that, things that have always kind of stood with me, stuck with me, helped me to get through life. What are those things for you, man?
Family's a big part of it. Every time I see family, I feel re-energized. And they also bring you back down to earth. You know, they kind of, you know, I'll be out in the world, you know, I'll be feeling some type of way about, I didn't get this opportunity or this thing, got that opportunity before me, or, you know, how am I supposed to get on? Like, you know, and you go back home and you see your family and you're just like, yo, shut up, little nigga. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
They'll put you in line.
Exactly. You know, and you realize you're like, oh, I'm just me. And no matter what I'm doing outside of this, my family, your family loves you regardless, and you're always welcome. So that's something that, you know, I realize has been something that's kept me grounded. Also, taking time to exercise for myself has been a big thing. I gotta, like, you know what I mean? I spend so much time at nights, you know, working on either having a meeting or having a project.
Right.
There's times where, you know, and there's been times when I'm supposed to hang out with you or stuff like that, where I'm just like, I got to go for this run, or you know, I got to set that time aside, you know, regardless of who I want to see or what I want to do, I got to do this because it'll help me. I'll feel better afterwards. I just go for a run on the beach, you know, every few days, every day I can go for a run on the beach, and I feel a lot better. And that's and especially when it's times where, like, you're with all your friends and everyone's kind of kicking it, they're like, yo, just stay. If I had planned on going and everyone's like, no, just stay, that's when I know I got to go. That's what I'm like. If no, come on, man. So like, nah, you know what? I should probably go.
We know that, Monte, that you spoke very eloquently about Kobe Bryant. And when it's all said and done, what do you want people to remember about you, and what do you want your legacy to be?
When COVID started, it was kind of I kind of thought about how important it was for me to be a stand-up comedian, especially during the protests and stuff like that, when everyone wasn't really feeling that funny. This time when it's not really a light time, you know, and that was and it was a big thing that a lot of comedians were feeling, and I remember feeling it myself. And what I thought about most was kind of like, okay, well, it's not so much making the comedy, because people still need the comedy, people still need to laugh, but it's so much, what do you want to do with that power of having people laugh? I really want to, you know, provide for people. I really want to put money into education. I really want to be able to open farms, you know, in Louisiana where my family's at, and provide food to not only people in Louisiana, but try to make it so we can gain control of having our own food again, you know, as people, you know. And I also, you know, and even, you know, times right now we're also reflecting on the past of, you know, things that have happened to Black people or happened in the country, and all the corrupt things that have come to light in the last year or two, you know, double standards and stuff like that. And being able to expose those things with influence or power is important.
This has been a phenomenal interview, brother. I truly appreciate your time. I truly appreciate you sitting down with Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. Monte, if somebody, I know you got the album coming out, a lot of different things you're working at, different stand-up shows that you do. If somebody is watching the show and they want to get in contact with you, follow you, where can people find you online?
Oh, man, you can find me on Instagram at The Real Aaron Mon. I'll find me on Twitter, the same thing, TheRealAaronMon. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it'll probably be somewhere written down in the video or something, but, you know.
Absolutely.
Find me on YouTube, type in Aaron Monte. All my videos come up. I'm listening on Spotify. I got 3 songs on there. My album, This One's For Your Mama, should be coming out within the next couple of months. Hopefully months. We'll see what we can do.
Nice.
Got an album with Tommy Wakefield coming out soon. We're gonna announce that.
Very cool.
Soon. Also, this is a great podcast show. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, brother. I truly appreciate you, man. But listen, Aaron Monte, we truly appreciate you, man, once again for your time. I'll make sure to list all the places where people can find you. Brother, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, bro.
Look what it do, just telling the truth. Yo mama getting jiggy, we raising the roof. Do my little dance, get paid in advance. I'm a cheap bastard, but splurging the booth. Look what it do.
Look what it do.
Look what it do. Look what it do.
Look what it do.
Look what it do.
Hey, hey.
Look what it do, look baby, who knew? We're like a dog watching dreams come true. Raising at Houston, Cadillacs cruising, South riding red in the North Candy blue. Baby, I'm blessed, no sneeze, a high shoe. Been dating a little Asian, roll her haiku. I like them thick, but I'm more concerned if you loyal, cause you need your heart to be true. Not a Boy Scout, but staying prepared, not a piece of meat. Have some respect when you stare. Do what I do, keep everything moving. They want an electric all up in my chair. I'm off the chain with no leash. Top 5, and that's just at least. Could've told, but no, I'll never speak. Groundhog Flow got this bitch on repeat. Look what it do, just telling the truth. Yo mama getting jiggy, we raising the roof. Do my little dance, get paid in advance. I'm a cheap bastard, but splurging the booth. Look what it do.
Look what it do.
Look what it do. Look what it do.
Look what it do.
Look what it do.
Hey, hey.
No ma'am, I don't sip codeine, but this kush so call it bedtime. Had epiphany that it was in me the whole time. Ain't here to flex it all, man. Little shit, look, let me quit. This what it do, but you already knew. Hot as a Cheeto and cold as the flu. She digging your boy. She fucking with you. Researching myself. Can't trust all the news. This slapping like violence. I need me a rider. Ain't in the withdrawals. I'm making deposits. You do what you can and I do what I wish. This ain't no luck, look, I'm blessing a bitch. Fuck your little money, my family, they love me. My health doing better, I'm already rich. Work for yourself, don't dig your own ditch. No time for doubts, gotta know that you it. This what we doing, this magic we brewing. Look what it do, just telling the truth. Yo mama getting jiggy, we raising the roof. Do my little dance, get paid in advance. I'm a cheap bastard, but splurging the booth. Look what it do.